The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions, without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Valley Regional Fire Authority, Washington, on your new Pierce Fire tractor drawn aerial, job number 36368. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation. Starting on the face of the front bumper, passenger side, mechanical siren. Just inside of that location, you'll find dual air horns. Protruding from the face of the front bumper, you'll find 2 attachment points. These are rated at 6,000 pounds and are direct pull only and not to be utilized for towing purposes. As we move all the way to the very far right-hand side in the image, driver's side face, electronic siren, PA speaker. Moving up onto the cab, headlights housing low and high beam headlight and turn indicator. Emergency warning light just above that. Grab handles located to gain access for the windshield area. And as we move to the outer edges, you'll find a flat mirror and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find your 5 clearance lights, ID lights. Also directly in the center, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. And as we move up onto the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located within inside the light bar in the center is your Opticom device. Let's take a look at some close-ups of the front bumper at an angle. First, we have on the side a side-facing emergency warning light. Also, you'll find on the cab side A-pillar, a side-facing camera. Let's take a look at some general photos. Full side view, driver's side. Then we'll take a look at the cab close-up area. Move around now to the passenger side full view, and then a close-up of the cab area passenger side. Let's get started now. We'll start on the driver's side entry point. Affixed to the door panel, all of our safety and warning placard information on the door panel. You'll also find a grab handle, door lock and latch, electric windows, and electric door locks. As we move to the bottom section, you'll find this yellow placard. This is going to have the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, all of the fluid capacities for each device, and also fluid types. Tremendously helpful information. Let's go ahead and move to the floor where you'll find foot pedals for the air horn and mechanical siren. Moving up to about the left knee of the operator, red master battery switch, quarter turn. As we move down, you'll find switches for the regen inhibit, ABS diagnostics, engine transmission ABS diagnostic port for your maintenance team, and display port for your maintenance team. As we move further down, you'll find DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and also a tech module for your maintenance team. Let's go ahead and move upward from this location. We do have a differential interaxle lock. This is an air switch and has an indicator when in the locked position. As we move to the dash, you'll find hazard lights, start and ignition, emergency master, allowing you to gain all access to emergency lights on and off from this switch, headlights and panel switch. On the opposite side of the column, a high idle indicator switch and indicator light. As we move to the dash, you'll find water, def level, oil, and transmission level. Opposite side, you're going to find volts, fuel, front and rear air. In the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information displays above and below the speedometer. Let's take a quick look just to the right of the driver's position. Now let's focus in on a few items, starting first with the pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release the yellow diamond just to the right of the steering column. As we move to the right, you'll find a Jackknife Warning indicator. As we move down, you'll find your Pierce command zone, tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. See your owner's manual for more information. Switch panel, aerial master, front wheel lock, stabilizer camera, generator PTO, and load manager. Moving further down on the switch panel, you'll find your engine brake on and off switch, a settings for that engine brake of low, medium, and high, off-road traction, diff lock, push to talk, mirror heat, and then also some caution indicators, disengage retarder when on wet or slippery surfaces, and a minimum speed for the generator operation 700 RPMs, and then always engage parking brake and front wheel lock. To the right, you'll find your Allison transmission pad, digital readout, push button. Further to the right, you'll find your flat and convex mirror and also warning buzzer for 1's go, 2 stop, and 3 back up. Window control for all 4 cab windows. Moving further down, you'll find 12-volt access via barrel style and USB. Also further down is your climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Let's take a quick look overhead in the operator's position. Let's focus in on the yellow placard on the far left over the operator's head. Height of the vehicle, 11 feet 6 inches. Length, 60 feet 2 inches. Gross vehicle weight rating, 70,800 pounds. There's also a 5-digit job number in the lower left corner. As we move to the switch panel, we have emergency master, white light cancel when parked on emergency scenes, electronic siren, and yes, of course, the honk honk beep beep switch, including a siren brake and momentary opticom. Moving further to the right, we'll find driver flood, front flood, passenger side flood, rear scene, and perimeter lighting. When any of these switches have been activated, the green light will illuminate, indicating the switch is active along with the light. Let's just move further to the right on the switch panel, where you'll find your Panasonic AM/FM Sirius XM weather band radio, also your traffic advisor. Moving from this location, let's move to the very top of the ceiling area, where you'll find window fans, and then also audible speaker for your unit radio, and then also your siren control module and PA speaker system. Directly in the center overhead, you'll find a warning, do not move your apparatus when the light is indicating you may have a compartment open. Let's move exterior, where you'll find exterior door locks that are keyed, and then also your TAC4 independent front suspension, and then also a keyless entry, shoreline inlet auto eject with a digital readout on amperage. Let's move down to the front axle, where you'll find Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheels, and also a visual sight indicator for the front axle. As we move to the rear section of the cab, affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, and grab handle. As we move just inside the cab area, you have some compartments located in the rear section, compartment lighting, and also webbing to maintain items within that compartment space. As we move to the rear of the engine cowling is where you'll find a lift and turn latch, which will gain you access into your daily checks for your oil and transmission access. There are 2 rear wall center seats located in the rear, also headset systems located overhead. Just underneath the pedestal, you'll find 2 lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space, which houses your air compressor for your air brakes, and then also your battery charger. This will operate only, both of these will operate only when plugged into Shoreline power. General view from the exterior. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear cab wall. We do have an additional storage compartment here, ventilation and LED lighting. As we move to the next compartment back, roll up compartment door, you'll find at the top long-handled tool storage, also a pull-out tray release mechanism located on the lower right. You'll also find the fill location for your ultra-low sulfur diesel fill. Moving to the forward vertical wall is where you'll find the cab lift. There are instructions on how to lift the cab and then also how to lower. We also have some Shoreline generated outlets located in the front section, a remote for your aerial nozzle, let's go ahead and move from this location down to the bottom where you'll find your CAFS system. This is the internal system up in the dunnage area and control module. Fill location once again for your ultra low sulfur diesel. Let's go ahead and move just under the running board area where you'll find your foam water discharge. It's a ball valve 1.5 inches. As we move just to the right, you'll find the air bottle refill, and then also the water tank fill. Moving down to the bottom, we're going to find our overflow bleeder. We do have a warning placard here, pressure hazard, and then also your agent tank drain to the far right. Let's go ahead and move just to the right of the ladder for gaining access behind the cab. This is where we're going to find the fill location, which is the blue cap for your DEF fill location. This is a 10 US gallon DEF tank. It's the blue cap as an identifier. Let's go ahead and move now to where the tractor and the aerial device are connected. First, let's start with a warning regarding anchor failure. That's on the device below. As we move now to the warning regarding tip over hazard, the fifth wheel must be locked during aerial operations. Lock fifth wheel after stabilizers are set. Do not release the lock until ladder is stowed. And then also do not adjust stabilizers with fifth wheel locked, and do not drive the apparatus with fifth wheel locked. We also have a warning regarding only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. We also have a danger placard regarding crush hazard. Let's take a look at a caution label here regarding driver's side latch must be released before moving lever to the free position. Let's go into the plumbing within this area. This is also on the passenger and driver's side. This is your wheel for opening and closing the aerial inlet. We also have a pressure warning hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening. Just underneath this area, you'll also find the aerial inlet. And then further down is where you'll find the aerial drain, 1.5 inch, locally controlled ball valve. Let's move just to the right in this image to the aerial inlet where there is a pressure gauge. Also a better look here at the aerial drain valve. Once again, ball valve, locally controlled, 1.5 inch. Let's move further to the rear where you'll find an additional anchor point. We do have a failure warning placard, direct pull only. And then also we have some indicators on the side of the vehicle. This is side to side and then front to back. As we look to the rear axles, you'll find Goodyear tires and Alcoa wheels. And let's look back up to stabilizer control. We do have a emergency stop push button, also an override, which is a protected switch, emergency hydraulic power, and then also an aerial level assist switch. This is the control mechanism here for both the passenger side stabilizer, out and in, and also up and down. It's also for the driver's side stabilizer. These control valves are also located on the passenger side. We do have a warning regarding aerial stability hazard on short jacking the vehicle on one side or another and overriding. This is going to be your overrides. We do have a stabilizer or aerial diverter switch, and then also independent controls for up, down, right, left, extend, retract. We do have some caution and danger warning in addition to danger placards regarding high pressure hazard, and then also once again the tip over hazard. Let's move now to the stabilizer itself, where you'll find this placard located on both sides, danger regarding electrocution hazard. This vehicle ladder is not insulated. As we move now into the compartments themselves, let's take a look at these individually. First, we have a large tool board that pulls outward, along with some shelving that pulls outward. In the compartments, you'll find shoreline and generator outlets, indicating that you can operate when either are operationally. As we move back to the next compartment, you'll find an additional pull-out tray in the lower section, and then also a pull-out tray. There are two release mechanisms on these trays located on the right and left side. Once again, we have shoreline generated power, and then also 12-volt access via a positive and negative ground. As we move to the next compartment, pull-out tray, additional shoreline generated outlet, and also 12-volt access via positive and negative wire studs. As we move to the next compartment, same thing, adjustable tray, and then also a shelf located in the upper portion, shoreline generated outlet, and then also 12-volt studded ground and live wire. We're now in the vicinity just above the last roll-up compartment door, where we have two D handles which will gain us access into the upper compartment. This is a through compartment, meaning you can access both from the driver or passenger side. Let's go ahead and look to the rear lower section. This is the compartment just above the rear axle. As we move down, you'll find Goodyear Tires Alcoa wheel and then also a visual sight gauge located in the center of the axle. Scba bottle storage with retaining strap, and then also we have an indicator regarding power on in the lower right, which indicated that the power is being received via generator or also shoreline power. As we move through the compartments, you'll find each of these compartments do have that shoreline power outlet generated power, and then also 12 volt via a ground and also live wire. General view here of the entire vehicle with all compartments open. As we move to the step well area, this is going to be the fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel for the heater in the rear section of the Tillerman's seat. General view here of the rear section. D handle gains us access into ladder storage area. As we look to the actual compartment, we do have a fall hazard and also a danger regarding electrocution hazard. Once again, this equipment is not insulated. Let's go ahead and look inside the compartment. This is going to be the torque box area where ladders are stored vertically. On the left-hand side of the truck, you're going to have a two-section 35-foot, a 24-foot two-section, a 10-foot folding, and a 24-foot two-section. As we move to the right side of the space, you'll find a 45-foot three-section, a 35-foot two-section, and a 16-foot roof, and two 14-foot roof ladders. Just below this area, you'll also find two protruding hooks. These are once again 6,000 direct pull, and we do have a warning placard indicating direct pull only. D handle gains you access into the lower compartment space, brake light, tail, turn, and also reverse lights in the very rear section. General view here of the passenger side of the vehicle. Let's move down the passenger side body, identify a few of those items. In the lower rear compartment, just under the Tillerman's position, you'll find dry deck material. You'll also find ventilation in each of those compartments, access via 12 volt, and then also generated shoreline power access. As we move forward, you'll find once again Goodyear Tire Alcoa wheels and a center visual sight gauge, Scba bottle storage with retaining strap. As we move to the lower portion, you'll also find that 120 15 amp plug on the exterior. Moving forward, once again, dry deck material, adjustable shelving and ventilation, LED lighting. This is the through compartment once again. 2D handles on the upper portion gains access into this compartment. As we move to the next compartment forward, we'll find once again that outlets with generated power and then also shoreline power. Moving forward, we have Scba bottle storage locations, DuraSurf located in the bottom and sides to protect the Scba bottles, shoreline and generated outlet. As we move to the next compartments moving forward, these are going to be our through compartments. These are the upper portion shelving and then also a pull-out tray in the lower section full extension. Once again, through compartment in this area. This is the one with the tool board, same compartment layout as we have on the driver's side. The difference is on the passenger side, this is going to be where all of our shoreline boxes are going to be for our breaker box, and then also breaker box for your generated power. As we move up into the compartment, you'll also find your Harrison generator control module. Close-up here of the S1 shoreline power breakers, and then a close-up of the G1 breakers. Let's go ahead and move forward now. We're about the location of the stabilizers. Just underneath that, you'll find your stabilizer pad under those compartments. As we move to the forward position, this is the passenger side stabilizer control module. We have an emergency stop, override, hydraulic power, and also level assist. Passenger side stabilizer and driver side stabilizer. We do have a warning placard regarding the short jacking of the vehicle for vehicle stability. General view here on the passenger side, same configuration for the most part as we have on the driver's side, front to rear, side to side inclinometers. As we move to the rear also, same configuration. We have anchor pull locations and warning placards regarding those pull locations. Aerial inlet gauge, aerial inlet, and then also the aerial drain. Once again, ball valve, 1.5 inches. Let's move just forward of this location where we have some additional labeling. Pressure hazard, caps may be under pressure, be cautious. Also, driver side latch must be released before moving lever to the free position. Let's move back to additional warning placards. This is going to be once again the same placard we have on the driver's side for tip over hazard, also an additional crush hazard, and then also warning placard regarding only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's once again only after proper training. Direct pull on the anchor location here. This is a warning placard for that anchor. Let's move forward to this location where you'll find your exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Please be cautious where you park your vehicle. As we move to the forward section, same configuration as we have on the driver's side. Access to the 12-volt studs, and then also we have long-handled tool storage, and then the generated shoreline outlet. Let's move downward from this position to the lower section of this compartment. Let's identify a few items here. These are going to be your air tank drains located on the left-hand side. And as we move to the right, this will be your foam water discharge. Let's go ahead and move now into the cab area once again. This is the rear portion of the cab. We have an additional compartment. As we move inside the cab, you'll find affixed to the door panel all of our safety and warning placard. At the hinge point, you'll find the red grab handle for gaining access in and out, door lock and latch, window control, and warning placard. Overhead, on and off, white or red lens lights. And then on the rear wall is where you'll find your seating locations. We do have 12-volt access located here. In this compartment, we have all of our radio information, also a circuit for 12-volt, and then also battery disconnect switch down in the lower portion of the compartment. I believe we have some close-ups of the items we just talked about. Barrel style 12-volt access. As we move down once again, very bottom section, lower right, battery shut off. Also, we have 12-volt access in the upper portion. We're over the right front tire. This is going to be your air filter. At the top section is also the release for your electronic door locks, which is a hidden unlock feature. As we move to the front axle, sight gauge, Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheels, and then also a push-button digital entry. As we move inside the cab area, once again, passenger side, front officer seat. Moving just inside to fix the door panel, safety and warning placard, door lock and latch, window control. As we move to the center console, push to talk for your radio, 12-volt access, siren brake for your mechanical siren, and then also your vehicle data recording port. As we look overhead, general view here, this is over the officer seat. This is your Sigtronics intercom system. And then as we move just to the left of this location, you'll find your unit radio. As we move down to about the A pillar in the driver's passenger seat, this is where you're going to find the fill location for your windshield wipers. General view overhead of the officer seat. The next set of images are going to be visual images for your just awareness. Let's point out first, we're at the front section of the apparatus. These are the tow locations which are approved for towing the vehicle. As we move also to the rear section, this is on the passenger side. This is your cab tilt reservoir. also the location for your battery studs for positive and negative. The next set of about a dozen images will just be that underneath the body section of the vehicle. As we move forward into the tractor area, just a quick reminder, diesel exhaust, be cautious where you park your vehicle. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Let's go ahead and move now up to the top section of the cab. We have some warning placards here regarding a non-walking surface, and also in the very center of the cab area is your tiller person's visual indicator for directly forward. Let's go ahead and move into the dunnage area of the apparatus. We'll identify a few items within this area. First, let's start. 2D handles gains us access into the pressure vessel, where you'll find for your compressed air system. We also have some warning placards here regarding fall hazard and also a crush hazard. As we look inside, once again, some warning placards: do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam. This is a stored energy CAFS system. We also have some pressure warning hazards. There are instructions on the top of the lid for its operation and refill. As we move also into this general vicinity, not within inside that component area, but these are exterior. These are going to be your aerial hydraulic fill locations and also sight gauges. Just to the right of this location, you'll also find your power steering fluid. We're now to the aerial device itself. We'll start with the pedestal at the very front. This is your audible speaker to the front section of the tip of the aerial device. It is a volume control, listen and talk push button. As we move to the pedestal itself, you'll find an emergency stop switch. It is a push button. And then also ladder tip remote gives the power of the vehicle, of the ladder, I should say, to the individual at the end of the ladder. We have an engine start and engine stop. They are protected switches. Just beneath that, you'll find tracking lights and tip lights. We do have an aerial speed for normal or fast operation, and then also an emergency hydraulic power. Just to the right, you'll find your Pierce command zone. Once again, a tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. It is a touch screen or also a function push button screen. See your owner's manual for more information on its operation. Beneath that, you'll find nozzle control and also ladder controls for extend, retract, right, left, lower, and raise. As we look to the cover of the pedestal, we'll find the information on your 107 Ascendant for waterway dry under a 50-mile-an-hour wind condition, its tip loads, and then also waterway charged with a 50-mile-an-hour wind condition. As we move further down, you'll find the monitor nozzle positions, and then also at the very bottom, you'll find asterisk information that will give information regarding freezing ladder conditions. Also on the cover, you'll find warning and danger placard information. As we move to the 4-section 107 Ascendant Aerial, let's talk a little bit about some of the options here. First, we have a straight ladder, 18 foot stored on the exterior side of the ladder. As we move to the inside fly, you'll find a 10-foot folding attic ladder. You'll also find on the outer base section a location for long-handled tool storage. Let's take a look at a close-up here of the attic ladder. Let's move to the opposite side of the fly, where you'll find long-handled tool storage. Moving toward the tip of the ladder, you'll also find 2 fold-down steps, one on the left and one on the right, and then also a chainsaw scabbard. Let's move to the tip of the ladder. This is where you'll find your ability to either have the nozzle way at the tip or at a reduced section on the fly. Make sure that this is locked into position to avoid any waterway damage. The control mechanism will be just on the right-hand side of the fly system. Let's go ahead and take a look at the controls. We have extend, retract, right, left, and lower and raise. We also have some additional warning placards. On the opposite side is where you'll find your intercom system. The system is passive. Also an additional danger placard. As we move to the tiller person position, let's go over some of the items within the cab area. First, let's start overhead. Push on and off white or red lens light. As we move to the far left in the upper portion, you'll find your heater. You'll also find turn indicators on the left and right side. They are the yellow lights. We also have switches here for generator PTO, rear scene, and perimeter lights. Let's move toward the center where you'll find a visual indicator for right to left. Also, just underneath that location, you'll find a Jackknife Warning flashing light indicating a possibility of jackknife. To the right, you'll find windshield wiper fluid and control, step lights, some tally lights regarding Jackknife Warning, trailer ABS, driver side and passenger side door open. As we look to the steering wheel, just left and right of the steering wheel, you'll find video camera monitors for the left side and then also for the right side. You'll also find right next to those video monitors fans which have on-off switches and then also control switches for low, medium, and high. Also, just to the right, you'll find heater control thermostat. Let's go ahead and look to the floorboard. This is going to be your activation for 1, go, 2, stop, 3, back up. As we move to the rear wall, you'll find your intercom system. As we move to the floor, you'll find on the rear wall the windshield wiper fluid reservoir. On the exterior, you'll find rear-facing mirrors. Let's go ahead and move now to the tip section of the ladder. On the 107 Ascendant, you'll find 4 lights, 2 on the left and 2 on the right that are floodlights. This is the location of the ability to pin the waterway from the tip to midsection on the fly section. Nozzle control. As we move to the dunnage area, this is your hydraulic generator and also fill location for the hydraulic generator oil. Also located in the dunnage area, you'll find a Fresno extension ladder. We do have yellow diamonds indicating the edge of the walking surface on the diamond plate. In the upper section on the outer edge, you'll find a hatch compartment, LED lighting. You'll also find rear-facing mirrors at about the midpoint of the cradle area and also side-facing floodlights. As we move to the next set of images, there'll be chassis and engine images. I would like to point out when lifting the cab area, there is a safety bar. It's located on the driver's side. When the bar is put into position, located here, it is intended to be not loaded. So the weight of the cab should remain on the lift cylinders. Do not lower onto the safety bar. This is an image of your TAC 4 front end suspension. As we look to the right, you'll find your battery terminal, positive and negative, just under the batteries. You'll also find the hydraulic reservoir for your cab lift. Congratulations, Valley Regional Fire Authority, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.